After traveling in the Newmar Dutch Star for 5 months, we've definitely learned what we love about this RV and some of the things that maybe need some improvement. So this is an honest review of the best of the features of the Newmar Dutch Star. And to start with, one of the number one features is being able to automatically jack up and down. So you pull in to your location and simply all you got to do is touch a button. You just hit this auto level button here and it's completely automatic. Everything's done for you. That sound that you're hearing it's air suspension, which again is another really nice feature. But the air suspension is airing out so that the RV sets down all the way down as low as possible before it starts jacking up. That also allows you to level out on slightly steeper inclines since it's airing down first. You cannot do that if you've got those shim tight, like a Lynx leveler, which I love Lynx levelers, but you can't, you're actually rolling your tires up on a Lynx leveler, so you can't handle quite as steep of inclines. Also with the jack system, the jacks level you out and take you off of your suspension, so you end up with a much more stable cabin to live in during the time that you're parked. So now we can hear the jacks, and they're now jacking up all automatically. It knows to jack 2 at a time so that we don't get too much twist. Because if you don't know about this, if you jack just a single jack, it is possible to jack up one jack and actually crack your windshield. So the auto leveling system is totally awesome. It's the way to go. I don't have anything negative to say about the leveling system because it's just awesome. That's all there is to it. This is the Newmar Dutch Star in travel mode. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of space with the slide outs all the way in. It's kind of tight, not quite as functional to get through. So that's one of what I would consider a negative, is that it's not quite as usable for traveling down the road. You really have to stop and put the slide outs out in order to have enough space to really do things on the road. It's a little bit more difficult, though it can be done, and we definitely did this. As you're traveling down the road, use the microwave, access the fridge, fix lunches, and without having to stop. That's one of the best features of a Motorcoach. Traveling across the country with kids, they can still use the bathroom and still get a snack. But definitely not as nice and spacious as when the slide outs are out. Another amazing feature of a Motorcoach like the Newmar Dutch Star is the slide outs. And this one has got 3 slide outs. A really big one on this side, I think it's a 30-inch slide out that I think is 30 feet long. It makes all the difference in the world once you're parked and you extend those slide outs. You practically double the living space. And again, this is super easy to do. It's simply press and hold the button and out it goes. As you can see, it's so much more spacious with the slide outs out. In fact, you almost double your living space. One of the other really cool features of the main slide out here on the Dutch Star is that you can see here the floor is raised up. That's because in order to bring the slide out in, it has to be raised above the main floor level. Well, in the Dutch Star, once it gets all the way out, it actually drops down so that the floor becomes flush. Really nice feature. One of the important things to remember when you're taking your slide outs in and out is that you got to make sure everything's out of the way. There are things in the Newmar Dutch Star that can get in the way. One of them is this door, so you have to make sure that you open the sliding doors all the way before you bring the slide out in, because again, the slide out's going to come straight in, not in line with this track up here. So it's not going to push. You might think it's going to push the door in for you. Not going to work. Another cool little feature is these cup holders, because underneath this bed is actually a fold-up sofa. But if you leave these cup holders out, those are going to get hit by the slide outs. So again, you got to make sure that everything is closed and secured before you start moving your slide outs. The driver and passenger seat doubles as nice recliners for, you know, conversation or watching a movie or watching TV. But again, before you do the slide outs, you got to make sure that you've returned the chair back to the regular position and spin it back around. And then another thing you got to be careful of is to be sure, again, another awesome feature is that the seats are automatic like this, but you also have to be sure that the seat is not too far back or too far reclined that the slide out's going to hit. And it can be close. You might think, oh, the seat's up. Well, that's close enough that that slide out's going to catch it. So you got to make sure that you have the seat far enough forward and out of the way. One of the areas you need to check before putting the slide outs out is these areas down here behind the seats. As you can see, when the wall comes out here, there's a place where things can get pinched in between. Same thing on this side. And also on this big slide out in the back, it applies to all the ends of the slide outs where things, if you leave stuff sitting in the wrong place, it can get caught and pinched in between the slide outs. So that's another thing to be cautious of, that you don't have anything in the way of your slide out. So the two slide outs for the main living area are up front, but the slide out for the bedroom is controlled right here next to the closet. And as you bring this slide out in, you'd naturally think that you'd stand in front of the buttons that you're pressing. But again, this is another one of these things to watch out for. Make sure that you're not in the way of the slide out. Because if I continue to bring both these slide outs in, I'm gonna get caught in the middle. So on this one, it's either easier to bring this one in first before you bring this slide out, or you're gonna have to stand out of the way and reach around the corner of the wall to bring this one in if the other one's already in. Bottom line is, before moving slide outs at all, make sure everything is clear and everything's out of the way and everything is secure, and you'll have no problems.
So I'm all about aesthetics. I love the way things look, and I like things to be pretty and I like things to be really clean. And this RV has both. And it's not clean just because it's a new RV. It's clean because all the surfaces are super easy to get clean. You've got the marble tile floor, you've got the granite countertops, you've got the stainless steel appliances, which just takes one wipe down. You've got the true induction burner. And living in a small space means that you don't spend your whole life cleaning and picking up. Everything has its spot. There's so much storage everywhere, and it just makes life easy living in a smaller space. Some people think they go crazy, but I'm telling you, it's amazing. You have to look at this shower. This shower is show-worthy in a home, let alone an RV. I mean, gorgeous! I just love it. So the other thing we have is all day shades. We can put our day shades up and down just from this little thing, and again, you can choose. And the really cool thing about these night blinds, you don't know if it's day or night outside. Literally, we have been sleeping in past ridiculous hours, and we're talking like 8:30 in the morning we're rising. And other thing about automatic blinds is you don't have people pulling them up and down all the time, so it's less wear and tear, believe it or not, when you can just push a button and have things work. It's very lovely. So as you know, we are a family of 14 traveling for 3 years now. A couple pets here and there, and everybody in the Newmar Dutch Star 4312 has a bed, has a sleeping spot. Everybody. This couch folds out. It's a jackknife, so you just lift it up. You just go like this. Voila, bed. And in the morning, you just go like this. Voila, sofa. And then this is a air mattress. It's a full-size, queen-size bed, air mattress underneath. Amazing. I think if we were gonna model our own or design our own Newmar Dutch Star, I think I'd make this into a booth. Just copy that side over here, because this table, all this extends all that extends out to about here. This, you dismantle it and you pull it and it comes out to about here. So if you just had that over here and maybe did away with the chairs, because the chairs are weapons for us. We don't need chairs, we need everything bolted down and stable. So I think that that would add a whole lot more seating for mealtime and whatnot. And I think it would work for everybody. I think everybody would probably prefer have a booth. So this is sleep comfort. That's right. This bed right here is a sleep comfort. You can see Dan has a very, very low sleep comfort number, and I have a very medium sleep comfort number. Love this bed. Most comfortable thing. And again, you can pull all the blinds down just by a button over your bed. So you can be watching TV in bed, hit your lights from over there, hit your dresser from over there, pull all the blinds down from right there. You can do it all, and then I'm telling you, this room gets pitch black. Pitch black. The other thing that's spectacular about the Newmar Dutch Star 4312 is this. This is a bunk room. It's got bunk beds. It's got a ridiculous amount of storage. There's a huge cabinet here. Each bunk has its own little storage. Each bunk has its own light system. So you can stay up and you can read at night, or you can come back here during the day, and the kids come back here a lot during the day and play Legos or color or whatever. So they have tons and tons of clothes back here for 4 kids and all their toys. So all their toys and their Legos and their Kindles and their iPads and stuff, it all went up in these little shelves. The one problem we have with the bunk room, actually there's 2 problems. It is hot as Haiti back here. Possibly because the engine's back here, but even when we've been stationary for a while, the kids die of heat. There's just this little window. So almost every single night, we have to turn on the AC for them, and then it's such a small room and the AC is right above them, they literally freeze in an instant. The other thing is that this moves, and so a couple of our children have gotten blood blisters climbing up. They've had their hands in the wrong spot and it's moved as they climb and caught their fingers. And so my suggestion, just make it so it's solid and it doesn't come off. That's the best thing, because they like to take it off too, and it drives me nuts. I'll find it up in the front. Just make it solid so that it doesn't move. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is the full-size fridge. It is absolutely a must-have for any family. Our Georgie boy has this little like college-size fridge, and we were shopping every single day. So this fridge is an absolute must-have, and I love the design. I love the 2 doors, and I love the freezer coming out. And then next to it, you've got your full pantry. I don't even have one of these at home. And a convection oven. No luxury RV should be without a convection oven / microwave. This thing has been a lifesaver. We've eaten whole chicken, we've made lasagnas and ham, and you could have a full-on Thanksgiving meal, a feast in this RV with this. All right, so the other thing that I have a suggestion for is that, this happened to us twice, if you don't lock the shower, this has a tendency to open when you're driving, and then if this is not closed very tight, this has a tendency to open, and then they get stuck. This can come, I got caught again. This can come out here, and then it will close you in. You cannot get in unless you have minuscule little fingers.
Again, one of the really nice features of the Newmar Dutch Star is the automatic awnings. From the press of a button, they just come on out. It's so easy to use. But as you can see, these big arms that do the work of moving the awning out aren't connected to the awning at all. The awning's only connected out here and over against the coach. So when it gets windy, that entire awning almost acts like a sail. The wind can just lift that awning right up into the air. So it's not good at all during any kind of wind. Now there are wind sensors. When it identifies that there's too much wind, it will automatically pull the awnings in. But I have had it where it looked like before it could get those awnings in, it really acted like a sail, and I thought it was going to take it off the RV completely. With a delicate system like this, there's almost very few places that you can actually use these awnings. Unless it's completely calm. So if you have any amount of wind at all, like we were in Colorado, it's just way too windy out there, way too windy in Utah. A lot of places out west, there's just too much wind to utilize an awning like this. You really need complete and total calm. But one of the really cool features of this awning, feature that we absolutely loved, is the fact that it has a light bar all the way across, and at night the direction of the lights is just down, such that it lights up the entire area. And with this outside TV, I mean, it's made for having nighttime gatherings under the awning. And I really like that. Our family really enjoyed that, and it was a lot of fun. Now the awnings on the Newmar Dutch Star, the two main awnings are controlled right here. That's the channel 1 is the front, channel 2 is the back section. But the awning over the doorway is right here. And this is kind of an odd place. Sometimes you actually forget where this is, because when you have the blinds lowered on the inside, this is actually behind the blind. So not the best of locations. It seems to me that could have just as easily gone on this panel here and being accessible with the other two. One of the most amazing features about the Newmar Dutch Star is their Comfort Drive steering system. And it's actually adjustable through this knob here. You can adjust it from 1 through 6. And basically what you're doing is you're adjusting the looseness or stiffness of the steering. So in like windy conditions, sometimes it's helpful to stiffen it up a little bit so that you don't get as much the wind controlling your steering. But if you have it set to the easier modes, I'm just sitting there parked, you know, so the wheels are on the ground, and you can just turn with the finger. It's that simple, that easy to do. And the other cool thing is it always returns to neutral, or returns to 0 degrees straight ahead, or 12 o'clock position. And that's a really nice feature, because that keeps you going straight down the road, which on the highways where it's mainly straight, you're always maintaining that straight position, and it makes it a lot easier to drive. One of the great features of Motorcoach is their big mirrors. Now you'll see a lot of different configurations for the mirrors on a variety of different RVs and Motorcoaches. On the Newmar Dutch Star, the driver's side mirror is right here on the side window instead of being in front. And this actually offers you much better visibility. This is the positioning of this mirror is great. Can see everything with very minimal blind spots. You can see this section here is your only real blind spot on this side. You've also got the turn signal camera. So on the driver's side, extremely good visibility. Now the mirror here, while the mirror is great, it's a big mirror and you got really good visibility through that mirror. You can see between the windshield and the door there's a pretty big section, and that's a pretty big blind spot there. Also coming back here a little bit between this window and the slide out is another pretty big blind spot. So you got to be much more careful on this particular coach on looking to your right if you're shifting lanes that direction, or you're pulling out, turning left, looking to see what's coming down the road. It's much more difficult to see here, and oftentimes I found myself needing to rely on the passenger, the navigator, to help make sure there's nothing in the way. So while the big mirrors and these big windshields offer you great visibility, be cautious of the areas in which there aren't windows, because those are all your blind spots.
The other thing I love about this RV is there is an automatic locking system. You push this button, see the little lock? You push it. Your door and your understorage lock. So you can also lock your doors and your understorage from a button inside, but I think this is really cool. It's got a doorbell. I'll ring it when we go inside. And then you've got a code to get back in. Opens the door. And you got a code to unlock the understorage. Cool, I love that. And so, since we're in the understorage, let me just show you. This is the other amazing thing about the Newmar Dutch Star. That is a fridge cooler powered by electricity. That is so awesome. It adds so much extra space, it's crazy. So the understorage, well, look at at that. We have a couple little welcoming little people in there. See, it fits human beings. Your kids are bad, that's where they ride.
What?
Under storage goes all the way through, and it's got this little sliding system. Oops, it's got this little sliding system to make accessing everything in there very, very easy.